Recent industry leaks and insider reports suggest that Deadpool 4 is not just in active development, but it is being positioned as the very first major theatrical release to launch the post-Secret Wars timeline. Marvel Studios is apparently looking to fast-track a massive mutant ensemble project spearheaded by Ryan Reynolds, but with a structural twist that completely defies typical Hollywood expectations. Wade will not be the main focus. Reynolds is reportedly crafting a heavy-hitting R-rated Black Ops squad, intentionally pushing Deadpool into a supporting role while giving neglected legacy characters the spotlight they always deserved. This completely flips the script on how blockbuster sequels usually operate, and it perfectly aligns with the massive momentum generated by the billion-dollar box office dominance of Deadpool and Wolverine. The executives clearly want more of that untamed multiverse chaos, and placing Wade at the forefront of the New Mutant saga is the most logical step forward to maintain that insane level of audience engagement. Reynolds has been remarkably transparent about his creative process and his deep understanding of what makes the character tick, stressing repeatedly that scarcity and surprise are the true superpowers of his franchise. He recently clarified his stance in several interviews, confirming that he has written new material he genuinely loves but feels absolutely no urge to rush another solo outing into production. His core philosophy is that Wade operates best in the margins, thriving in a dynamic where he is desperately seeking validation from prestigious groups like the Avengers or the main X-Men roster, but constantly getting rejected. The moment Wade is officially accepted and handed a team jacket, the joke dies, and the emotional engine of the character stalls out completely. This is exactly why the upcoming project is being shaped as a gritty team-up rather than a traditional sequel. Industry insiders have revealed that Reynolds has been quietly developing treatments for a film featuring 3 or 4 major mutant players. The loudest and most exciting rumor points directly to an adaptation of Uncanny X-Force, specifically pulling heavy inspiration from the legendary comic run by writer Rick Remender. That storyline features a covert, morally grey mutant hit squad handling horrific apocalyptic threats that the public-facing heroes simply cannot touch without ruining their reputation. Applying that brutal, uncompromising tone to a fresh cinematic universe is essentially a license to print money. The rumored roster for this Black Ops team-up is already sending absolute shockwaves through the fandom and generating endless theory crafting online. Alongside Reynolds, Hugh Jackman is heavily rumored to continue his unprecedented run as Wolverine, riding the incredible wave of their recent blockbuster success. Beyond those two anchor characters, whispers from the reliable Scooper network suggest we might see Josh Brolin return as Cable, a brilliant casting choice that would drastically expand his importance in the new continuity after being sidelined during the multiverse saga. Even more intriguing are the rumors surrounding Storm, with prominent fan casts and industry speculation pointing toward acclaimed talent like Cynthia Erivo taking on the Weather Goddess mantle. In the original comics, the Uncanny X-Force squad dealt with the devastating Dark Angel saga, an emotionally crushing storyline where Warren Worthington slowly succumbs to the ancient Apocalypse persona, forcing his own teammates to make impossible, fatal choices to save the world. Adapting even a fraction of that emotional devastation would elevate the live-action mutant franchise to heights we have never seen before. Reynolds fully understands that surrounding his chaotic anti-hero with straight-laced, deeply traumatized individuals is the ultimate recipe for blending hilarious comedy with genuine tragedy. While these massive theatrical plans take shape in the background, Marvel is making entirely sure that Wade remains highly visible across all media platforms. The hugely anticipated second season of the animated hit X-Men '97 arrives on Disney Plus on July 1st, and the promotional material has already broken the internet. A brief but undeniable shot in the first trailer revealed a sword-wielding Deadpool stepping right into the animated fray. While some hardcore fans theorize this might just be the shape-shifting mutant morph playing cruel mind games with Wolverine, it still marks a major brand synergy moment that demands attention. This appearance actually breaks a long-standing rule from the first season, where former showrunner Bo DeMeo explicitly stated that Deadpool was completely off-limits for the creative team. Bringing him into the animated fold right now feels like a calculated, deliberate move to condition audiences for his expanded role in the wider universe. Furthermore, there is a fascinating theory gaining massive traction online regarding the infamous comic storyline Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. In that narrative, Wade realizes he is nothing more than a fictional puppet and decides to systematically massacre every single hero and villain in his path. Some savvy theorists believe the Time Variance Authority could manipulate Wade during the collapse of the multiverse, convincing him that actively pruning dying realities is the only possible way to save his loved ones. This brilliant twist would reframe frame his chaotic violence as a desperate, tragic mission to protect Vanessa and his found family, perfectly setting the stage for his eventual survival into the New World Order. While Reynolds carefully crafts his R-rated masterpiece, Marvel Studios is simultaneously moving forward with an entirely separate, clean slate X-Men reboot designed to introduce a new generation of mutants. Director Jake Schreier is officially attached to helm the project, coming hot off his highly anticipated work on Thunderbolts. He has enlisted the impressive talents of writers Lee Sung-jin and Joanna Kalo to refine the script, aiming for a distinct tone that emphasizes the intense interpersonal drama and messy soap opera elements of the classic Claremont comics, rather than just rehashing the same tired ideological battles between Xavier and Magneto that we have seen a dozen times before. This official studio reboot is slated for a release somewhere around 2028, and it remains completely disconnected from the Black Ops chaos Reynolds is brewing on his end. Schreier has explicitly debunked several wild casting rumors floating around social media, specifically shutting down fabricated claims about Hunter Schafer playing Mystique. However, the studio is quietly planting brilliant seeds across the broader cinematic universe to prepare for this new era. A prominent example is Sadie Sink, who is confirmed to appear in Spider-Man Brand New Day this summer and is widely believed by insiders to be playing a young variant of Jean Grey. On the flip side of that coin, Famke Janssen, the original live-action Jean Grey, recently voiced her public disappointment at being left out of the massive mutant reunions happening elsewhere, proving just how deeply protective these veteran actors remain over their legacy roles. All of this intricate multiverse manipulation and character juggling leads directly back to the monumental opening sequence of Avengers Doomsday, hitting theaters this December to set the final endgame in motion. Marvel has intentionally shifted the release date back from its original May slot, specifically to ensure the visual effects and the sheer monumental scale of this ensemble cast are absolutely perfect. According to highly detailed and wildly consistent leaks, the film kicks off with a massive continuous incursion event tearing violently through the universe established by director Sam Raimi over 2 decades ago. Tobey Maguire returns as his iconic Peter Parker, only to find himself locked in a brutal, desperate physical confrontation against Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine, with Deadpool slashing away right beside them in the rubble. Meanwhile, in the background of this collapsing, apocalyptic reality, Ian McKellen returns as Magneto to ruthlessly annihilate a pack of surviving Raimi villains, potentially including multiversal variants of Sandman, Green Goblin, and Doc Ock. The ultimate fate of Spider-Man in this specific sequence has been the subject of fierce, ongoing debate among scoopers and fans alike. Early reports claimed flatly that Peter Parker would die in the chaos, but recent updates suggest a much more tragic and emotionally resonant outcome. The current going theory is that Peter survives thanks to a frantic, last-second intervention by the TVA, but he is forced to watch helplessly as MJ and his daughter turn to cosmic dust before his very eyes. Marvel Studios has completely denied these leaks as per usual, but the undeniable paper trail of stunt double sightings and concept art descriptions tells a very different story. This breathtaking opening apocalypse serves as the ultimate definitive send-off for the Fox and Sony eras before Doctor Doom completely shatters the timeline and rebuilds it in his image. The confirmed legacy roster for Doomsday is utterly staggering, featuring Patrick Stewart returning as Professor X, James Marsden back as Cyclops, Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler, Rebecca Romijn as Mystique, Channing Tatum finally getting his due as Gambit, and Kelsey Grammer as Beast. The marketing campaign for this cinematic event has been a masterclass in slow drip hype, releasing targeted, separate teasers that highlight Chris Evans returning as Steve Rogers, Chris Hemsworth reprising his role as Thor, and an epic, world-colliding crossover between Wakanda and the Fantastic Four. Fans are also patiently waiting for the grand payoff to that unresolved TVA monitor footage showing Thor crying over Wade Wilson, a brilliant long-game tease that Reynolds planted during the press tour, purely to drive endless internet speculation. Director Sean Levy has also expressed a very strong public desire to see Deadpool interact directly with Tom Holland playing Spider-Man, noting that their rapid-fire comedic dynamic would be completely unmatched on screen, even though complex corporate rights issues between Disney and Sony make that specific crossover extremely difficult to execute. Ultimately, the entire future of the superhero film genre rests heavily on the shoulders of these legacy mutants and their seamless transition into a fresh, post-Secret Wars continuity. The chess pieces are constantly shifting on the board, and the master plan remains shrouded in typical studio secrecy. But one thing is absolutely certain: when Wade Wilson finally steps out of the multiverse wreckage to assemble his new team, the cinematic landscape will never be the same.